Skid Row is an American heavy metal band, formed in 1986 in Toms River, New Jersey. They were very successful in the late 1980s and early 1990s, with their first two albums certified multi-platinum. During this period, the band consisted of Sebastian Bach, Dave the Snake Sabo, Scotti Hill, Rachel Bolan and Rob Affuso. As of 2010, the band consists of Sabo, Hill, Bolan, Johnny Solinger, and Rob Hammersmith. The band has sold 20 million albums worldwide. To date, Skid Row has released 5 full-length albums, 3 EPs, a compilation album, and a live album. They became popular with their first 2 albums, Skid Row and Slave to the Grind. Their 1995 follow-up, Subhuman Race, was also critically acclaimed. Skid Row's first 2 albums with Solinger, Thickskin and Revolutions Per Minute, came out in 2003 and 2006 respectively. Their newest recordings are the first 2 chapters of the United World Rebellion trilogy and are often considered their best work to date. In 2014, Skid Row headlined the largest show of their career at the Polish Woodstock. Attendance was over 500,000. History: early years, Skid Row was formed in Toms River, New Jersey, in late 1986 by bassist Rachel Bolan and guitarist Dave the Snake Sabo. The pair added guitarist Scotti Hill, drummer Rob Affuso, and lead vocalist Sebastian Bach, who replaced original lead vocalist Matt Fallon, to the lineup by early 1987. The band began playing shows in clubs throughout the eastern United States. John Bon Jovi had been put in a position to seek out new and upcoming talent. John Bon Jovi and Dave Sabo had been friends for a very long time. They agreed that if one of them made it in the music business, he would help the other out. Bon Jovi manager Doc McKee sought out Skid Row, and signed them. They secured a record deal with Atlantic Records in 1988, and entered the studio with Michael Wagner to record their first album. The album was recorded in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin at Royal Recorders. Skid Row would later open for Bon Jovi, who were touring behind their New Jersey album. Skid Row, released in January 1989, was an instant success. The record went 5x platinum and produced the hit singles 18 and Life, I Remember You, and Youth Gone Wild. As part of Bon Jovi's 88/89 Jersey syndicate, Skid Row played their first ever UK gig as opening band at Bon Jovi's outdoor show at Milton Keynes Bowl on August 19, 1989. The very next day, Skid Row played a hugely successful club show at London's Marquee Club in Charing Cross Road. In what is referred to as the bottle incident by fans of the band, Bach was hit with a bottle thrown on stage from the crowd at a concert in Springfield, Massachusetts, where Skid Row was opening for Aerosmith on December 27, 1990. Bach threw the bottle back, hitting a girl, so he jumped on the crowd to beat the person, who can be seen on a tour video released by Skid Row called Oh Say Can You Scream in 1990. Shortly thereafter, at another show, Bach put on a t-shirt proclaiming the anti-gay slogan AIDS Kills Fags Dead. The shirt was given to him by a fan. Slave to the Grind, Skid Row returned to the studio with Wagner in 1990, to record their second studio album. Slave to the Grind, released in June 1991, it debuted at number 1 in the American charts. Slave to the Grind became a major success, with the album spanning the hits Monkey Business and Wasted Time. Skid Row once again went out on a worldwide tour which lasted over a year, including a leg supporting Guns N' Roses in 1991 and an appearance at the Castle Donington Festival in 1992. Slave to the Grind was a departure for the band. Where Skid Row was an album that followed the typical 80s band formula, Slave to the Grind had a heavier sound, even verging on speed metal with the title track. Beside Ourselves, Subhuman Race, before a third album could be recorded, Skid Row took an extended hiatus in 1993, following the Slave to the Grind tour and the release of the EP, Beside Ourselves, in September 1992. For some time, Skid Row parted ways with Wagner, possibly due to their music taking a different direction for the follow-up to Slave to the Grind. In 1994, the band returned to the studio with Bob Rock, to record their third studio album. Subhuman Race, released in March 1995, charted in the top 40. Although it did not achieve the success of Skid Row and Slave to the Grind, it generated a few hits and received positive reviews. At that point, however, their videos were rarely played on MTV, partly because of the rise in popularity of grunge and subsequent decline of many heavy metal styles and 1980s hard rock. Skid Row would open for Van Halen on the North American leg of the tour. Eventually, Sebastian Bach was fired by the band in late 1996. The new Skid Row and Thickskin, Skid Row reformed in 1999 with new lead vocalist Johnny Solinger, formerly of Solinger. After reforming, they opened for Kiss on their farewell tour, and have also played with other 1980s metal bands such as Poison. In 2002 they were part of the Rock Never Stops tour. Skid Row released their fourth full-length studio album, Thickskin, in 2003, which was their first album to feature Solinger and their first studio album in 8 years. Revolutions Per Minute, the fifth Skid Row album, Revolutions Per Minute, was released on October 24, 2006, through SPV Records. Michael Wagener reunited with Skid Row and became their producer for this album. In 2007, the band recorded Jingle Bells for a Monster Ballads Christmas album. In early 2010, Rob Hammersmith became the new drummer for Skid Row. Asked in September 2009 about the next Skid Row album, guitarist Scotti Hill replied, "We haven't sat down and recorded anything yet, but we have sat down and worked out some ideas and just played them on a handheld recorder. Everybody's writing and we're getting into that mindset. Once the wheels get in motion, we'll all probably fly out to Atlanta, spend a week or two up there, come home, go back up there, do it again. We're all living in different cities, which can make it difficult at times." United World Rebellion, Chapter 1 EP releases. In February 2013, Skid Row announced that they had signed with Megaforce Records. An EP of new material, entitled United World Rebellion, Chapter 1, was released on April 16, with several other EPs set to follow within the following 12 to 18 months. In early February 2014, the band returned to the studio to begin work on another album. Rise of the Damnation Army, United World Rebellion, Chapter 2. In August of 2014, Skid Row released the second chapter of the United World Rebellion trilogy called Rise of the Damnation Army, United World Rebellion Chapter 2 to stellar reviews. The band debuted the single, We Are the Damned from UWR2 in Poland when they headlined the largest show of their career at the Polish Woodstock. Attendance was over 500,000. Current members: Dave the Snake Sabo Euro guitars, backing vocals, Rachel Bolan Euro bass, backing vocals, Scotti Hill Euro guitars, backing vocals, Johnny Solinger Euro lead vocals, Rob Hammersmith Euro drums. Discography: Studio albums, Skid Row, Slave to the Grind, Subhuman Race, 40 Seasons, The Best of Skid Row, Thickskin, Revolutions Per Minute, EPs, Beside Ourselves, Subhuman Beings on Tour, United World Rebellion, Chapter 1, Rise of the Damnation Army, United World Rebellion, Chapter 2, Awards and Nominations, American Music Awards, References. External links, official website.